Hey, is that working? There we go. There we go. Okay. So I know I haven't uploaded in a while, and honestly, like, I don't know. I just been busy, but I wanted to record this, and then I realized that this guy's rant is so goddamn long. It's 42 minutes, so I have to stream it because I'm not about to record, edit, and upload a video that's gonna be over an hour long. Like, Jesus, man, I'll just stream it. I'll just stream it, dude. But yeah, okay, so, what's up, Gabe? Yeah, today I'm gonna be watching this video that came out a week ago called Super Straight Pride. It's from the Matt Walsh show. It's episode 647. And yeah, I don't know, it popped up as an ad yesterday, while I was just scrolling through YouTube, and I watched like a couple minutes of it, and I was like, this is such bullshit, so fucking cancer. So I have to just, I had to save it for my, yeah. Okay, you'll see, Got some water, I got a shit ton of free time, and I'm steeling myself for the raw disgust that I'm about to feel for this man.
Today on the Matt Walsh Show, a new online trend has some people declaring themselves super straight. The left has condemned it as transphobic, but then again, they condemn everything as transphobic. Also, 5 headlines, including BLM protesters fighting against racism by harassing little girls on their way to a cheerleading competition. Minneapolis braces for rioting as the Derek Chauvin trial begins. And lonely people have...
Shit. Okay. Gabe asked what super straight is, and that is an excellent question, Gabe. What is super straight? Okay. So he explains it here in a second. He watches the original clip, but I'll explain it real quick. Basically, super straight is a quote-unquote sexuality that was created by cishet people, which means, you know, cisgender, heterosexual. And it's basically a straight person who doesn't want to date transgender people. And, you know, like, I'm all for, like, you can choose who you want. Like, you can have a type. You don't have to date a girl if she's trans. You don't have to date a guy if he's trans. You know, if you have a genital preference, that's completely on you. Like, good for you. I don't care. No one cares. And even if you're not willing to date someone who's trans and has gotten the surgery, like, that's kind of shitty, but, you know, whatever. But super straight is just blatant, like, I'm not gonna date a trans girl because she's not a real girl. Like, you know, transphobia, fucking, it's just bullshit, right? Yeah, it's just gross. It's just, horrendous. It's just people on the quote-unquote right. And I'm sure it's not all people on the right, and I'm sure it's not exclusively people on the right. I don't really care for politics. I don't call people right-wing, left-wing. But you know what I mean when I say that. It's basically this, just them being sensitive. They say that they're stooping down to our level, but if that's the case, then not only, like, they're insulting themselves too. And also, you know, I'm not gonna push my political views or anything, but I feel like stooping down to human equality is, like, I don't know, man. You gotta be God if equal rights for everyone is below you.
given rise to a new trend, cow cuddling. Plus, in our daily cancellation, we'll discuss a pastor who got himself fired after he gave a sermon telling women that they have a responsibility to look attractive to their husbands. Did he have a point? I'll see how many people I can tick off when we discuss that and much more today on the Matt Walsh Show.
That intro screams like Southern conservative, just
Now, in recent days, a new trend online has provoked increasing concern from the left and the media. The trend is called super straight. This is a new sexual orientation, hot off the presses, though not really new at all.
Hot off the presses, you know, he implies that we just have a thing at the ready to make new ones, as if they haven't already been here. Like, okay, I mean, you know, I'm not defending super straight. This one hasn't been around, but like, I love when people pretend that sexualities are just being invented, when in reality they've been around since like fucking William Shakespeare. Even before that, that's just, you know, an example that I can give that a lot of people will understand.
Invented by a TikTok user in a video that has since been removed. I'm not sure if he removed it himself or TikTok took it down as hate speech. Certainly the left has declared the video hate speech. An article posted to Yahoo bears the headline, "A social media trend has people identifying as super straight. The transphobic campaign was meant to divide LGBTQ people." And Pink News declares transphobic trend super straight has links to the far right and neo-Nazis. Of course, because everything does. The website Distractify says social media users explain how super straight is transphobia, not a sexuality. Then the article comes with a warning for those who didn't get the message from the headline that, quote, transphobic statements are ahead. Before we go any further, I guess we should probably watch the video. So let's watch the video that started all the commotion. Here it is.
Yo guys, I made a new sexuality now, actually. It's called super straight, okay? Since straight people...
This guy looks like a dick, doesn't he? I mean, he's got like that super like, I don't know, he's got that smug look. He's got his hood partially on. He's got his eyebrows and his face is all just like too overly done. And he's got that super thin, like just coming in mustache that all, like, you know, all teenage boys have that. And it's, dude. Just shave it off or grow a real one, dude.
or straight men as myself, I get called transphobic because I wouldn't date a trans woman. You know, they're like, would you date a trans woman? I'm like, no, why? That's a female. No, like, that's not a real woman to me. Like, I want real woman. No, you're just transphobic.
I mean, yeah, you can't, like, mock someone for saying, nah, you're just transphobic when you're being transphobic. You're being the definition of transphobic. That's not a real woman. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So now, I'm super straight. I only date the opposite gender, women, that are born women. So you can't say I'm transphobic now, because that's just my sexuality, you know?
Pretty edgy stuff. So the guy in the...
I agree. This one statement that he makes, I agree. Pretty edgy stuff.
video, which that Yahoo article mentioned earlier calls a hate and disinformation campaign. That's what they said about that video. It's a hate and disinformation campaign.
Okay, one other thing I agree with. That is definitely not a hate and disinformation campaign. There is moderate disinformation saying that trans women are not real women. Let me move my mic like away from my face. It seems like I'm screaming. And it's definitely not a campaign. However, it is hateful. So...
But he's really just making the point that he's attracted to females, which means he's not attracted to males, even males who identify as female.
Okay, wrong buddy. He says that he's attracted to females, which includes trans women. Then he says not males, not even males who identify as female. But there's no such thing as a man who identifies as a woman. It's just women. There are people born men who identify as women, and there are people born women who identify as men. But there is no such thing as a man who identifies as a woman, because that's just a woman.
The reason for this, by the way, is that generally speaking, a human being is sexually attracted to another human being based on who that other human being is.
Right, and people who are attracted to me because the person who I am is a girl. Okay, same for everyone else. I'm sure there are very few people who are attracted to you. They're attracted to you because you're a man. And countering the point he's about to say, they're not attracted to you because you think you're a man. They're attracted to you because you are a man. And I know this because you clearly identify as one. You can't be against transgender and then argue that I'm assuming your gender. Okay, fuck off.
Not based on what perception the other human has of themselves.
Also, just another quick note. If you have a perception of yourself, then that is who you are. I mean, you know, I can't, like, perceive myself wearing a pink hoodie. I'm not. I'm wearing a black hoodie. But that's different. Like, you perceive yourself as a guy, therefore you are a guy. You can't... Ugh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm really hoping that all of you guys understand what I'm trying to say. If you don't, and you're, like, on his side, please leave. Disgusting piece of trash.
The idea of being attracted to another person's self-perception seems absurd, incomprehensible, because it is. Now, I'm not going to go around calling myself super straight. I don't think we should make any serious attempt to turn super straight into a thing, simply because being regular straight, a normal old heterosexual, already means being attracted to members of the opposite sex to the exclusion of members of your same sex, even the ones who identify as members of the opposite sex.
That is not true. I have had multiple straight partners in the past, okay? Fuck off.
Coming up with a new term would seem to surrender this ground and concede that it's possible for a person to be straight and yet also attracted to members of his biological sex.
Yes, it is possible. Also, another thing, just to be clear, it's not exclusive to men being straight. There are plenty of straight women. It's probably not what he meant, but he said it, so, you know, just thought I'd throw that out there. My mom is a woman, and she is straight. That is a thing.
I don't want to do that, so I'm going to stick with plain old heterosexual to describe myself. But this super straight thing is more of a troll than anything else, and as a troll, I have to admit it's pretty funny, and it makes an important point. And the point is pretty simple. Two can play at that game, right? If the left can go around inventing new sexualities out of whole cloth, then anybody can. And if LGBT people can...
We're not, dude. We're not inventing anything. These things have been around for ages. These things have been around for longer than you were a single cellular organism inside of your father's balls. Okay?
Express pride in their sexual preference, then anybody can. One of the trending hashtags on Twitter right now is super straight pride. And many of the people using the hashtag are accusing those who criticize them of engaging in superphobia. Now again, it's silly and really funny. But the point is that if you think this is silly, then all of the other invented sexualities and genders are just as silly. And so is labeling someone transphobic or homophobic for criticizing you or disagreeing with you. The left does not want to add super straight to the list of sexualities, but keep in mind that this is a list which includes, but is not limited to, allosexual, androsexual, asexual, autosexual, bicurious, bisexual, demisexual, fluid, gay, graysexual, gynosexual, heterosexual, heteroflexible, homoflexible, homosexual, lesbian, pansexual, queer, questioning, sapiosexual, sex repulsed, scoliosexual, and spectrosexual.
Wow, dude really took the time to write all those out on his script. Damn. Okay, you know, I'm not going to deny that there are definitely a lot of sexualities, but I'm also going to come out and just say, a lot of us, at least me, part of the LGBT community, also don't incorporate a lot of those bullshit sexualities. Like, you ever heard of lunar sexual? Or lunar gender, or whatever, I forget which one it was, but it's basically, I forget if it's your sexuality or your gender, but it changes based on whether it's night or day. And I mean... Okay, I understand people who are gender fluid and their thing is like night or day. I read a book and this person's thing was like rain or sun. But, you know, I'm not going to deny. Lunar sexual, kind of stupid. All these fucking whatever, most of the ones he just listed, also kind of sexual, kind of stupid. Like, what is... I think I know what autosexual is. There was like... Atrix sexual something sounded like a robot name. I don't fucking know.
By the way, a demisexual is just someone who needs to have an emotional connection to someone in order to be attracted to them. That's a demisexual.
Okay, yeah. So see, there's another stupid one. Of course, you need okay. Well, I mean, I take that back. You don't always need an emotional connection to someone in order to be sexually attracted to them. In fact, a lot of people are sexually attracted to a lot of other people, even though they're not emotionally attracted to them at all. However, I feel like that being a necessity is just a preference and not a sexuality. So, I understand why he's bringing it up. It is stupid, valid argument on his end, but we could just, you know, like, stop using that because whoever made it up is a fucking moron.
If you need that emotional attachment, that emotional connection, in order to feel the attraction. So in other words, women are demisexual.
Okay, yeah, fuck you. Not all women require emotional attraction for sex. Okay, have you ever met whores or strippers or me?
A sapiosexual is someone who finds intelligence attractive.
That's, again, just a preference. Whoever made that up is a moron.
And a gynosexual, as the name suggests, is someone who is attracted to the female body.
Again, just a preference. Whoever made that up is stupid.
So in other words, a straight man.
Or a lesbian, or literally anyone who is attracted to women. You don't need to put a label on it.
Lesbian. An allosexual, get this. An allosexual, I'm not making this up, and I just found this out this morning, is someone who experiences sexual attraction. Okay?
Okay. Again, that's really, really fucking stupid. And whoever made that up is a goddamn moron. But this is why we don't use all of the made up sexualities in the acronym. It's called LGBTQ because it's pretty exclusive to LGBTQ. All the other ones, for the most part, are fucking stupid.
If you're attracted to anyone, then you're an allosexual. Any sexual attraction at all makes you an allosexual. What this all means is that the super straight community is selling itself short, I think. I mean, you could add a whole bunch of additional labels. You could be a heterosexual, allosexual, gynosexual, super straight. This is how ludicrous it's gotten. There are already LGBT orientations and pride flags for people who are straight, but for whatever reason don't want to call themselves that. I say for whatever reason, but I know the reason. The reason is that there is privilege that comes with being in the LGBT camp.
Okay, I hate how much I'm agreeing with this guy, but I'm gonna be honest, this point is pretty valid. I'm sure a lot of people are making up these stupid fucking sexualities in order to seem special, or get attention, or get the quote-unquote privilege that comes along with that. Whatever, I don't know.
Being under that umbrella. Okay, it's not cis heterosexual privilege. It's LGBT privilege. That's what we have in this culture. And that's why straight people invent sexualities.
Okay, hold on. You're saying that LGBT people are more privileged than straight people? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sure. Because straight people are legally denied medical treatment for illnesses that are life-threatening and oppressed by family and friends and workplaces and all that. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Straight oppression.
I mean, they remain straight, but they invent new labels just so they can fit, just so they can be in the club. And if you have a club that everyone is desperate to be a part of, that's a pretty good indication that your club is privileged. That's like the definition of a privileged club. And all of these sexualities interact with the ever-expanding list of genders. Now, this is certainly but a partial catalog.
Ever-expanding list of genders. Okay, I'm gonna say this again, and I always say this. Whenever anyone asks, this is always my answer. I don't know how hard it is to understand. There are two genders. Two. Right? You got a guy and you got a girl. And you got anyone who identifies in between. You've got, people who lean more towards boy, people who lean more towards girl, people born a boy who identify as a girl, people born a girl who identify as a boy, people who don't identify with either gender. But there are no more. There are no more. It is a spectrum. You have A, and you have B, and you have everything in between. You've got white and black and all the shades of gray. Okay? There's no blue, there's no purple, there's no red. Fuck you. Okay? Goodbye.
But that list includes agender, androgynon,
Agender is a thing. I don't know what androgynon is. I'm pretty sure that's just what you call androgynous people, and that is not a real gender.
androgynous, bigender, cisgender, gender fluid.
Gender fluid is valid. Cisgender is a thing. You can't deny the existence of cisgender because you are cisgender. I forget the other one he said, but it was dumb.
Gender nonconforming, gender questioning.
Gender nonconforming is literally anyone except for cis, okay? So that's just a thing. Drag queens, who existed way before, again, you, are just gender nonconforming, okay? I could go outside and wear a dress. Boom, gender nonconforming. That's not a gender, that's just not conforming to gender norms, okay?
Gender variant, gender queer, intersex, non-binary, pan-gender, trans female, trans male, trans person, trans woman, trans feminine, trans masculine,
Did you just fucking say that trans man and trans woman, trans male and trans female, trans masculine and trans feminine are all 6 different genders? None of those are genders. None of them at all. None of those. Those are 6 non-existing genders. Again, male and female. Those aren't real things. Fucking okay.
Spirit and other. And like I said, very partial list. Matching up a sexuality with a gender is like a March Madness bracket. There are like 98 trillion possible outcomes. And all of these different words and labels are only meant to obscure the fact that, in reality, you know, it all still boils down to the same basic, quote, traditional possibilities. When it comes to sexual orientation, the left has simply found 100 different ways to repeat itself. But they hasten to remind you, only they are allowed to do that. This is a game that only they are allowed to play. They can invent genders, invent sexualities, express great pride.
No one's invented anything. No one's like just creating anything out of thin air. These are already things that exist, and then the other ones are just words that stupid people use to say things that already exist. Or make theirs way more complicated, like again, lunar, sexual, whatever the fuck. However, pride is something that is pretty exclusive because we're oppressed. You express pride when you're oppressed. There is no white pride, there is no straight pride. Right? Like, you know, that's not a thing. You can be proud that you're the societal norm, and I'm not gonna put you down for that. That's great. If you are cis, white, male, straight, good on you. I'm happy for you. Live a happy life. But you don't need a pride parade. You can't get mad that we have a pride parade when you've never had a pride parade. And it's just dumb, dude. It's just dumb.
In their new creations, you cannot, they say. You're not allowed, according to their rules. And that's a very good reason to break their rules and do it anyway.
There are no rules. There are no rules. You can go out and have your straight pride parade. You can put a straight pride bumper sticker on your Ford F-150. But like, that's not against the rules. There's no law that says you can't do that. No one actually gives a shit except the really sensitive people. But like, do you really need to do that? Do you really need to advertise that you're straight? Isn't the whole point of what you want for straight to just be the norm and everyone's straight, so everyone just assumes you're straight? That's kind of counterproductive to advertise that you're straight to make it a point, because then you're recognizing that straight people are a minority, which they aren't, by the way.
Just to annoy them. I mean, for no other reason.
Yeah, why? Why do you waste your time annoying minorities on purpose? That's oh my god, dude. That's like taking the time to grab a white t-shirt and write on it, "I hate black people," and then wear it and purposely show it to black people to piss them off. You are going out of your way to upset other people who are probably having a good day. Why? Why is that what you want to do with your time?
So I'm a supporter of the super straight movement for that reason alone. In fact, I think we could invent some more. I mean, the sky is the limit. Maybe we can come up with different sexualities based on the day of the week. If you're attracted to somebody on a Tuesday, you're a Tuesday-sexual.
That's probably already a thing, because people in our community are really fucking dumb. Sometimes. A lot of them. Not all of them. But it doesn't mean it is a real thing. It's just a delusion. Right? And you don't... Like, seriously, why? Why is this what you choose to do? Purposely annoy people and do this stupid shit to piss other people off. Like, why? What's the point? Does it make you happy to upset minorities instead of just let them live their lives and you live yours? Are you, when you die and go to wherever, or when you're on your deathbed, are you gonna be proud of yourself? Are you gonna be like, wow, I'm really glad that I spent all of my time pissing off other people and not doing anything of value at all?
If it's Wednesday, you're a Wednesday-sexual. Of course, Friday-sexual will be a popular identification. I suspect there won't be a lot of Monday-sexuals. Is this completely stupid? Sure. But the people who talk about demisexuals and allosexuals, have no room to criticize. And that's the...
You're right, they don't, because they're dumb. However, so are you.
point. Two can indeed play at this game. If you don't like it, then maybe we should all stop playing it.
That's what we want. We should all stop playing it. We should just accept other people for who they are. If you would just stop getting on us about being ourselves, then we can stop getting on you for getting on us. It's so dumb. Like, I don't walk into a room and punch someone, and then they punch me, and I say, oh, well, you hit me, now I'm gonna hit you, and then you're gonna hit me, and then back and forth. Like, no. No. That's dumb. Fuck, I messed up my nails. I thought they were dry. How are they not dry? It's been 2 hours. Damn it. But yeah, no, it's ugh.
Now let's get to our 5 headlines. Before we get to 5 headlines today, I want to tell you about our friends over at LifeLock. It's always a good time for all very right. And I apologize if you're watching the show and I seem, more stiff and uncomfortable than usual. It's because I woke up with a back.
Okay. Here, this one. We'll watch this part too. Because a lot of this shit we don't care about. I'm glad that he at least broke it up into segments.
Okay. Number 3 from the Daily Wire says, according to the across the United States, a growing number of biological men are competing in women's sports as anti-discrimination laws at the federal and state level have opened the door for athletes to compete based on the gender with which they identify. Of course, we knew about that. It goes on to talk about 4 states that are in the process of passing laws to prevent biological males from participating in female sports. And those states are South Dakota, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Texas.
I was putting money on Texas. I was putting money on that being there.
In the process of passing laws saying, if you're a man, you can't participate in women's sports.
Wrong. They're saying if you're a trans woman, you can't, or just a trans person who was born male at birth or assigned male at birth, then you can't participate because you forget that none of those people are actually man, and you're just stupid.
Which is great that those 4 states are doing that. My question is,
no, it's not. No, it's not. Why would you think that it is?
Why isn't every Republican-controlled state doing this?
Because not all Republican-controlled states are bigoted pieces of shit.
Better question would be, why didn't they do this 5 years ago?
Because not all states are bigoted pieces of shit.
Why did they do this 8 years ago?
Because not... Okay.
those of us with common sense and with eyes in front of our heads that can
See other people's genders as what they are and not what we perceive them to be because we aren't stuck in the 4th fucking grade back in 1972.
see, we saw this coming. We knew it was going to get to this point. It was obvious years ago. So every Republican-controlled state should be doing exactly this.
No, they shouldn't. No, they should not. Do not take this sorry excuse for human beings advice.
And the great thing about this issue, and one of the reasons I talk about it so much, it's very important. It's a very important issue.
No, it's not. Denying people rights is not an important issue. Well, I guess it is. The fact that you are denying people rights is an issue, and that is important.
Because it deals with, especially when it comes to sports, men in women's sports, men in women's locker rooms.
There are no men in women's sports or women's locker rooms except the pedos, okay? There are women in women's sports and locker rooms. They may have been born as men, but that does not make them men.
You know, you're protecting kids. You're protecting their sports. You're protecting their safety and their privacy in the locker rooms. That's important for that reason.
Their safety? They're protecting their safety. You think that a woman's gonna walk into a woman's locker room and just start beating the shit out of a little kid? Any person could do that. I'm just saying, like, just because the woman has a dick doesn't mean it's more likely. Just because the woman was born with a dick and doesn't have it anymore doesn't make it more likely. Anyone could harm a child. Nobody should, but anyone could. I am not more likely to harm a child than you are. In fact, I find you more likely to harm a child than me, given your views.
It's important also because we're dealing with fundamental truth.
The fundamental truth is that gender identity trumps sex assigned at birth. Because they're different things, and one of them is a lot more important than the other.
Okay, with reality, are we going to be a society that recognizes basic fundamental realities?
Yes, we are. We are going to be a society that recognizes the basic fundamental realities that other people are what they are and not what you want them to be.
I think that's pretty damn important, personally. To fight for that, to fight for basic reality. So it's important on that ground. The arguments you can make in favor of laws like this are bulletproof, unassailable. As in, there is actually no argument on the other side.
I have an argument on the other side. Trans women are real women and therefore should be allowed in women's sports because they are women. That's a pretty solid argument if you ask me. He also said that his arguments are bulletproof, so let me try one out. Trans women are men. Okay, that is a scientifically proven false fact. So I don't think that's pretty bulletproof.
There is no even semi-coherent argument for allowing the men into women's sports.
You're right, we shouldn't allow men into women's sports, but we're not talking about men.
No argument has ever been made for it. It's happening. People do argue for it, but no one has ever actually presented an argument for it.
People argue for it, but no one's ever presented an argument for it. Okay. I don't care how much emphasis you put on the second time you say the word argument, that doesn't make your sentence make sense.
So it's the right thing. You can make great arguments for it, and it's really popular. So this is an opportunity to take a really important stand that will also be profoundly popular with the public. Why not do it? It's a win-win-win across the board. Every Republican state should be doing this.
Yeah, it's a win-win-win across the board, except for when you consider the numerous women who you're excluding from women's sports. Then it's more like a win-win, lose situation, you know? And then like a few more loses.
Every elected Republican should be on this issue, should be lining up on this issue, talking about it. So congratulations anyway to South Dakota, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Texas. All right, also from the Daily Wire, it says the 2 German shepherds belonging to President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden have been removed from the White House after displaying aggressive behavior. CNN reported Major, who was adopted by Biden in November 20.
Okay, yeah, so no one actually cares about this. However, how long have we been going? 35 minutes. And this is a few minutes long. Yeah, okay. We'll check this out too, because it seems like it might be a little interesting. He says, talking about gender rules.
Today, it's time for a daily cancellation that is sure to get me in trouble if I don't handle this issue tactfully. And we all know that I don't handle anything tactfully, so this will be no exception. We begin with a report from KCTV. It says, a Missouri pastor is on leave after he gave a sermon that many people say was sexist, misogynistic, and inappropriate. Pastor Stuart Allen Clark took a leave of absence Tuesday from First General Baptist Church in Malden, Missouri, located in the state's southeast Boot Hill, after receiving widespread criticism for his sermon given in late February. In his sermon, he explained that women need to lose weight and...
Why did you say the same thing twice, except the first time you said it in minimal detail?
submit to the sexual desires of their husbands to keep the men from straying. Boot Hill, after receiving widespread criticism for his sermon given in late February. In his sermon, he explained that women need to lose weight and submit to the sexual desires of their husbands to keep the men from straying.
Ew. You're right. That is sexist and all the other things that you said. Women need to lose weight and submit to the sexual desires of their husbands? The fuck century are you living in, dude?
Clark also said wives need to wear makeup, dress nicely, have nice hair, and appear less butch.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I don't wear makeup. I don't dress nicely. I don't know what appearing butch means, but I feel like it means appearing masculine, and I gotta tell you, I'm probably one of the most masculine appearing women on the planet. You know, yada yada yada. And I've been with my partner for like 8 months, which isn't that long in the grand scheme of things, but you gotta keep in mind that I'm 16 years old. You know, and I get that you're talking about wives for their husbands, and I'm a lesbian, so it doesn't count, but like still, you know, like really dude, really? I would be surprised if this guy was married, and if he is, his wife probably doesn't know about his whatever this is, or she's just like some brainwashed fucking... This is disgusting, dude. This is disgusting. This is probably the grossest thing he's said this entire time.
Now, the article goes on to explain that Clark is now receiving professional counseling after getting fired, and the church has denounced his sermon. Now, we do have, as you were hoping, a video of this sermon. The whole thing is pretty long, but we could play the first minute or so, and here it is. Let's listen.
Man, I want you to know a need that a man has that he won't ever tell you about, but since I'm the preacher man, I'll say it. Your man needs an attractive wife.
Yeah, if your man is a piece of shit. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. Being attractive is definitely a huge plus, but I'm not gonna deny my interest in someone just because they aren't the most attractive they could be.
Well, anybody else thinks about it? Well, I shouldn't say that. Your man needs an attractive wife. A hockey player said. He said, I married a trophy wife, but now she looks like the Stanley Cup. You see what I'm talking about?
You know, no offense, dear sir, but I feel like your wife also needs an attractive husband, and you don't necessarily fit the bill. Just saying.
That's what I'm talking about. All right? That's what I'm talking about. And ladies here, here's the thing you need to know about men. Don't give him a reason to be like this distracted boyfriend. You hear me?
Fucking meme. Okay. And, you know, you're not even gonna lie. Girl on the right more attractive than the girl on the left, and it's not even because the girl on the left is literally in 2p and the girl on the right is in 8-bit.
Don't give him a reason to be looking around. Hello? Don't do that. I've said this for a long time. I'll say it again. It's free, by the way. Is I really don't believe women understand how visual men are.
People are visual. There are a lot of people who are visual. Don't group all men into this, okay? I'm not saying that my mom isn't attractive. I'm just saying my stepdad definitely isn't only with my mom because she looks good. Okay? For the record, my mom is attractive. I'm just saying. Like, that's not, like, not all men, you know. I can't... Just most men. Most men aren't like that, okay? I was gonna say my brothers, but my brothers are 5.
I really don't. I don't think it's in their capacity, their ability to understand how visual that men are. I really don't think women understand how important it is for a man to have a beautiful woman on his arm.
So there you go.
Yeah, disgusting. Please tell me that you don't like what he said. My God, if anyone agrees with that man, you... Ugh. If you agree with him, you're probably a Christian, in which case all I can say is burn in hell. However, I am not, so yes, maybe that argument doesn't hold any weight.
Who's canceled here? Well, Pastor Clark is certainly canceled. Normally, I wouldn't insult a person on the basis of their physical appearance, but if you're going to give a sermon like that, then you've invited the observation that you yourself are pudgy and out of shape.
Thank you. Thank you. I know that he's about to side with the pastor, but I do appreciate that he opens up with the fat joke or whatever.
Not to mention you're apparently wearing jeans at church while you give this sermon about the importance of putting effort into your appearance. Now, it's possible the pastor isn't married, which means he would technically nullify some of my criticism, but still, married or not, if you're going to stand in front of a group of people and start lecturing them about being out of shape...
No, I know, Gabe. I know a lot of great Christians. I also know a lot of really shitty Christians, but I do know a lot of great Christians. I'm not a Christian. I don't hate Christians. I did leave the religion because I was... Yeah. But, I know that not all Christians are pieces of shit. There are plenty of good. Probably more good than bad. Unfortunately, all we see are the really shitty ones. Because they're the ones in power and whatever.
You better have your own house in order. Your own waistline in order. All that said, you know, a million people have already made this point about the pastor. He's lost his job. He's a national pariah. He's in counseling. I don't think it's necessary to jump on the dog pile.
Good. I'm glad that he is.
Like we're at Bath and Body Works. There is no reason why a bad sermon from some random pastor in Missouri needs to be a national issue. I've heard many bad sermons in my day. There's nothing especially remarkable about a bad sermon, especially or even this one.
I mean, yeah, I'm not... This one is pretty remarkable, you know. I feel like going to church, you know, you're not necessarily looking to hear that women are objects for their husbands and should therefore keep up their appearance for their husband's sexual pleasure because that's what they're good for. That's not necessarily what I would want to hear. No.
The reason I'm bringing it up is that it raises an interesting issue because I'm also canceling many of the people outraged by his comments. Now, as I said, if you point out that the guy is throwing stones in a glass donut shop, fine, fair point. But if you claim, as many people have, that it's not at all a woman's responsibility to...
Is the donut shop reference because he's fat, or is that just something that I don't understand?
to tend to her appearance for the sake of her husband, then I have to disagree. I mean, this pastor got it wrong because he was making this a one-way street, exempting himself, apparently, and it would seem men in general. But the problem is that many of his critics are saying that women simply shouldn't have to worry about being attractive to their husbands at all.
Okay. On this, I somewhat agree with him. Everyone should worry about their appearance at least a healthy amount. You know, it's not good to be fat. I'm not going to stand here. I'm not going to fat shame anyone, but I'm also not going to say, you know, even if you're fat, you're beautiful. You know, like, okay. All right. Like, I'm not saying being fat is unattractive. I'm not saying being fat is terrible. I am saying that being fat is not good, leaning towards bad. Being fat is not traditionally attractive to most people. Being fat is very bad for you. Okay? And I know that fat isn't, like, being overweight isn't the only unattractive quality of people. I'm just saying. That is an example. But I agree. You should worry about your appearance, especially if you're in a relationship. I gotta say, my concern for my appearance skyrocketed when I got into a relationship. I was terrified about having, like, anything in my hair or on my teeth or whatever. However, you know, while you shouldn't objectify people, especially, like, just specifically saying women, you know, or if it was specifically men, that is just as bad, but he did it to women, so, you know. However, you know, you should maintain your appearance, especially if you're in a relationship. If you respect the person you're with, you'll try to look your best. Because I'm not going to deny the reality that if you let yourself go, you will probably get dumped. Especially if you're not married.
And that's not right either. The reality is that both sexes, should put effort into their marriage, which means putting effort into themselves. And it's not only about being physically attractive, by the way. It's your responsibility to tend to your health so that you're around for your husband in the long run. Or your,
Agreed.
Or your wife in the
Yeah, thank you. Okay. I thought he was about to say that, so yes. I agree with everything that he just said.
long run. You know, there's a good chance that in your later years, you're going to have to take care of your spouse, or your spouse will have to take care of you. And that's sickness and health and everything. That's part of the deal. But you don't want it to happen because you neglected your health and abused your body. So there are a number of very good reasons for people in a marriage to do their best to remain healthy and to take care of their bodies. This seems, again, like some more basic common sense, and it is. But the problem is that people these days tend to think that the highest good is for an individual to live for themselves, even after they get married.
No. You're wrong. Now, I'm not going to push all my views because I know a lot of them are very controversial. Especially a lot of my LGBT views, my abortion views. I hold my spouse over my child. Like, you know, I'm in love with my spouse, not my child. I love my child. Okay, I'm talking as if I'm like a married person with a family. I'm not. I'm just saying. However, you're... Hold on.
To remain healthy and to take care of their bodies. This seems, again, like some more basic common sense, and it is. But the problem is that people these days tend to think that the highest good...
Oh, right, yeah, that's what you're saying. Okay. You shouldn't live for yourself, okay? You should, but that's not, like, the highest. I put my partner over myself. Not like, you know, you're better than me. I just mean, like, you know, if a car were about to hit my partner, and I could push them out of the way, but I would be hit by the car instead, I would push them out of the way. Like, that's a no-brainer. I'm not letting them get hit by that car. So, you know, like, you shouldn't live exclusively for yourself. You should hold yourself in very high regard, for sure. Especially when you consider that holding yourself in high regard is also respecting your partner and the other people around you. Because if you just treat yourself like a piece of shit, then everyone else is going to feel bad for you and have to take care of you and whatever. But you shouldn't hold yourself to the highest regard.
is for an individual to live for themselves, even after they get married. They don't want to accept that after you get married, your life is not solely your own anymore. Your body is not solely your own anymore. Now, I know when I say that, it sounds shocking. So your body's not your own? What are you talking about?
No, I mean, I agree. It might be shocking to some people, but you gotta understand that when you're in a relationship, they are yours and you are theirs, right? Like, you know, they're not gonna brush your teeth for you, probably, but if you don't brush your teeth, that's affecting them too. And it's a back and forth. You don't brush your teeth, they don't want to kiss you. They don't kiss you, you don't get kissed. That sucks for you, it sucks for them, and, you know, that's an example. You don't change your clothes, they're not going to want to hug you. You don't shower, they're not going to want to sleep near you. It's not exclusively yours, and if you really want to, like, you know, I'm not saying that your body is never your own. However, you should shower for the sake of other people and yourself, always. But when you're in a relationship, you do have to understand that, like, you do belong to them and they do belong to you. Not in an objective way, but, like, that is your partner and you are their partner. You always say, I am yours and you are mine and whatever. Like, that's a thing that people say, and you gotta take that, like, that's for real.
Only sounds shocking in a society that fails to understand, refuses to understand the fundamental point and purpose of marriage.
Yeah, that's what I just
If
said.
a phrase like your body is not your own in marriage shocks you, I ask you to consider why it would upset you if your spouse cheated on you. I mean, what is the...
See, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. You know, cheating is bad. If you cheat, you're a piece of shit and you should die on the spot. But, like, you know, and I'm not saying that cheating is just as bad as not taking care of yourself. But, like, you gotta take care of yourself because you are theirs and they are yours. You would expect them to take care of themselves.
phrase cheated on you even mean? What exactly has your spouse cheated? In what way have they violated you simply by offering their own body to someone else? Doesn't concern you. What do you care? Well, because they've shown a part of themselves, they've given a part of themselves that they promised they would show and give only to you. Their body is not solely their own. They don't have the moral right in a marriage to go and give it to someone else.
I agree. If you cheat, you should die on the spot. I hold strongly to that. You are not your own in a relationship. You are partly your own, but you are also partly theirs and nobody else's. So if you give that special part of yourself to someone else, if you even so much as show it or offer it to somebody else, it doesn't matter if you actually give it to them. If you willingly show it, if you offer it, you are a shitty person, and I hope you die.
By giving their body to someone else, they have taken something from you. They've betrayed you.
Yeah. I hate how much I'm agreeing with this guy, but in this instance, he is very right. Very right. In the sense that he's correct, not that he's right-wing, although he's that too.
Why? Because, again, their body is not their own. Every person in a monogamous relationship agrees with that statement. Every single one. If they didn't agree, then they'd have no problem with their spouse going off and having sex with the secretary or a coworker or whoever. But every person in a monogamous relationship does have a problem with that.
I'd just like to also state real quick, since he says people in a monogamous relationship, I don't believe in non-monogamous relationships. Well, I take that back. There's platonic, which is, you know, just friends. But you're either not in a relationship, you're in a platonic relationship, or you're in a monogamous relationship. There's no fucking polyamorous, fuck you, that's friends with benefits. You're not in a relationship, okay? If you're dating multiple people, if you're fucking multiple people, you're not in a real relationship. You're a shitbag. Only if you say that you're in a relationship, just to be clear. You cannot be in a relationship and have sex. That's no problem. But if you are in a relationship and both of you guys are off fucking other people and you're like aware of it, that's not a relationship. That's not.
A very large problem, which means they believe, even if they don't know they believe it, and they wouldn't put it like this, that their spouse's body, in some sense, belongs also to them as their body belongs to their spouse. Not just body, life, everything, your entire person, body and all. In marriage, you pledge all of yourself, body, soul, everything, to the other.
Yes, I agree. And honestly, I think that that standard holds true for relationships too. The only reason I would get married is for all the legal benefits. I think that as soon as you officially get into a relationship, you are morally obligated to withhold all of the standards that a marriage would have. Because it's pretty much the same thing. I understand that a marriage is more official and more recognized and whatever, but I'm not okaying anything just because you're not married.
And that's the beauty, that's the mystery, that's the joy, the sacrifice of the sacrament. That's the point of the sacrament. I mean, it really has no point if that's not the point. And all this means that, yes, part of that deal, take care of your body, take care of your health, for your spouse's sake, for your family's sake, for your children's sake, so that you're around for them, and for your own sake. But again, there are certain aspects of this message that are difficult to deliver if you haven't yourself seen the inside of a gym since the Reagan administration. And that's why this pastor, but also many of his critics, are canceled. This is called equity. This is my version of equity. When I cancel everybody. Always fun to do. And we'll leave it there for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Godspeed.
Okay. I didn't expect to agree with this guy as much as I did. A lot of his opinions are shitty. I also agree with a lot of them. He seems like an okay guy. I feel like if we weren't talking about gender-related issues, we'd probably get along. Honestly, that's all I have to say. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend him. I'm not supporting him. I'm not going to link him anywhere. I left his name. That's good enough. You got the fucking link in the top of my screen if you really want it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. So, yeah, that's it. That was my reaction to straight pride and moral obligation to objectify yourself, and what was the other one? More transphobia. So yeah, I don't know. That's that. Have a nice day. Be good to everyone. I'm not a Christian, but, as the Bible says, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. Do that. Listen to that. If you're not Christian or if you are. That's the most important passage in the Bible, is to love everybody.